Plaintiff Tashima Armstrong says the defendant is her neighbor, and she's nothing but a nuisance. Tashima claims the defendant's house is the party house, where all the kids go to hang out and smoke marijuana. Tashima says the defendant has dangerous dogs who attacked her dog, so she's suing. Defendant Stacey Ray takes offense to being called a nuisance, especially since Tashima's house was raided by the police in a drug bust. Stacey has no idea what happened on the day of the attack because she wasn't home, and she's countersuing because she believes Tashima took it too far when she called animal control.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I lived in my neighborhood for about 10 years, and Stacey moved in the neighborhood maybe about 3 years after me. And when she moved in the neighborhood just became pure chaos.
She brought the neighborhood down.
Oh, yes. Her house is the party house. All the kids hang at her house. I mean, it is awful. And it has become to be worse and worse. Now...
Are you the only neighbor that feels that way?
Oh, no. I have letters here from different neighbors who they have complained, and we have talked about it. We have had meetings about it. I mean, her house...
Her.
Yes. Yes, her house, Your Honor, is the house of nuisance. I mean, she allows...
Have you all ever reported her as a nuisance? That is a violation.
Yes, we have actually talked to the police officer at the precinct in our area.
Yes,
it has calmed down.
Of what?
One example is that her son, one day I was coming home, and her son was actually being arrested. Yeah, he was leaving out the house in handcuffs.
Okay.
And, sometimes I come home and the kids...
that has nothing to do with her having a nuisance in her household. That's just her son being a crook.
No. Well, outside of that, she has a lot of kids that hang at the house.
Ma'am.
They're smoking marijuana.
How do you know?
When I get out of my car, I can smell marijuana.
Okay, so they're smoking it outside.
Oh yeah, they're smoking it outside. And if it's not unless they're sharing one cigarette.
All right.
If they're sharing one cigarette.
Did they all have thick glasses? Maybe they all have glaucoma.
No, they don't have thick glasses.
Marijuana is used for glaucoma.
No, they don't have.
They don't have thick glasses.
No, sir. No, sir.
What else?
They have like I said, a lot
Loud
of kids
music?
out. Yeah, sometimes Richard will pull up his window and put the music box in the window and have the music just a blasting.
Give me the background before we get to the veterinary bill.
Gotcha. I moved in 2001 in April. I've been there for approximately 8 years. And from the very beginning, we've had problems. I mean, we've had run-ins with Miss Armstrong for the ball going in her yard. I'm in a cul-de-sac. I'm the last house in the cul-de-sac. Her house is here, another neighbor's house is here, another here, another here. These two are best friends with my son. The whole neighborhood, we've been there 8 years. All of those kids grew up with both my kids and my son and my daughter. They're gonna come to my house. That's where my kids live.
Is he a hoodlum?
No, some of the kids he's hanged around with have been.
And he just happened to be arrested?
And he happened to be, actually the day he was arrested was trespassing, and it wasn't even for trespassing because they dismissed it. It was because they wanted him to ride on some of his friends. Honestly, that is the truth.
And he happens to have on $20,000
he borrowed
jewelry.
that because he wanted to look cute.
Yeah. $20,000 piece of jewelry.
That's fake.
It's fake. So he's a fake hoodlum. Okay. You a fake hoodlum?
No.
You better get you some real jewelry.
He's not a hoodlum at all, sir.
Real hoodlums and gangsters have real jewelry.
So I actually moved my son from the neighborhood for a few months to get him away from the area because it is not the best of areas, and he does not have the best.
Let's talk about you and what she has alleged.
Okay, well, she has alleged that there's no proof that my children have smoked marijuana in front of my house. One.
Loud music, do you all disturb?
If they go outside and play basketball, yeah, they're going to set the music in his window.
Have the police come to your home based on a call from your neighbors?
In regards to the ball going in the yard, in regards to them being loud playing basketball.
Ma'am, is this about it?
The police know her son by name. As far as the basketball court is concerned.
What have you alleged to the police?
We have alleged to the police that they are taking over the neighborhood. We call
No. The police don't come out because you call them and say, my neighbor is taking over the neighborhood. What did you allege specifically?
That they were smoking marijuana. Right. By the time they get there, they've stopped smoking the marijuana.
Did the police come and allege marijuana use?
No, sir.
All right. Do you have any evidence you want to give me?
What I have is about the dogs and the neighbors complaining
And
about
that's the
the dogs.
veterinarian bill that you're suing her about has to do with dogs? Go ahead and explain that to me.
Okay, her dogs run loose in the neighborhood.
Unleashed.
Unleashed. She has
What
gotten,
type of dogs?
She has gotten a ticket. I think one is a Shar-Pei Pit Bull mix.
Wow.
And one is a Rottweiler, maybe
Whoa.
German Shepherd mix.
Those are the type of dogs that hoodlums have.
And
Go
I
ahead,
also
man.
have a letter here where one of our neighbors wrote a letter to the mayor.
I've come home several times to find these dogs loose in my yard or my neighbor's yards. Ma'am, how do you respond to these dangerous dogs being unleashed?
Well, first, sir, I'd like to go back to where I was cut off so she could finish. As far as my family being a nuisance, being a nuisance is coming home and not being able to get in your driveway because it's blocked by police and FBI and all this
Why?
stuff. Drugs.
Okay. Do you
I
know
wave
if
at her
anyone,
as I
do
go
you
by,
know
and
if
that's it.
anyone was arrested for selling drugs out of her household?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who was it?
Her friend, her boyfriend, I'm not quite
Ma'am,
sure.
was someone arrested selling drugs out of your home?
No,
Has the FBI ever come to your home?
No, she's not telling the truth. And what she's talking about, doesn't have anything to do with this. As far, I don't
you're
have,
alleging, no. You're alleging this woman is a nuisance in the neighborhood
She is.
because her kids smoke weed and their friends smoke weed. She alleges that you are selling the weed or your friend or whomever
No.
is selling the drugs and
No.
the FBI has been to your house. That has everything to do with being a nuisance in the neighborhood. Let's move on.
I don't
Go
even wanna
ahead. Let's
discuss
get to
it
these
either.
dogs, though.
Okay. And my dogs are Shar-Pei and Mastiff mixed and Lab and Shepherd mixed. Okay. Good dogs. The kids seen the dogs outside. Then they got into a fight. Rocco got bit, which was my dog. Another incident on
By who?
3-3 by her dog. On 3-3, Romeo and her dog fought. I received those 2 tickets. That's the incident that she's speaking about. It was
She
just
hasn't told me about them yet. Give me the animal control reports that your dog was bitten by hers.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't call. It was a bite on his ear.
Okay, so
But
what did you
she
see?
didn't-
What did you see on the other dogs?
I didn't see the other dog.
Okay, so you don't know who bit whom. Go ahead, ma'am. Do you know what happened?
Yes,
Did you call animal control?
Yes, I was at home. I actually was at home. I let my dog out in the backyard. My dog is in a fenced yard, but I have pictures here of where it had snowed and the snow had kind of like weighted down just a little bit where the dogs had came from her yard to my yard, all stampeded in the back of my yard where the fight had occurred. I left out, like I said, for maybe about an hour. When I came back, my dog was still in the yard where I left him, but laying on the side of the house. I mean, almost dead. Could barely move. I mean, it was terrible. And I called my animal control, and I also had called my mom, and I called the police. If my dog had been outside that yard and they had got him outside, he wouldn't have been able to even make it back in the yard. I mean, it was terrible.
And the police.
And I take good care of my dog.
Animal control came out, and what occurred?
They told her, they said, we see blood trails in your yard from your yard to your door. They saw it and they told him about it. He said that he just let the dogs out just to go use the bathroom. He let the dogs out all the time. The dogs just run through the neighborhood. They're never on a leash. I mean, people are actually scared. I have a 10-year-old son. He doesn't come outside and
Ma'am,
play.
do the dogs go out into the neighborhood unleashed?
They have, yes, sir.
And you were ticketed for this incident.
Of course
She
I
was
was, sir.
tick-
Yeah.
she was-
So
ticketed
why don't you
twice.
think you should be liable?
I don't feel I'm totally liable, sir.
Why?
Because her dog is able to get out of her yard.
Is there any evidence that her dog did?
I have a video of her dog out the yard.
Did the animal control give her a ticket for her dog doing that?
I'm not vindictive. I'm not going to do that.
Good enough. It's not being vindictive. It's called obtaining justice. And that's what she's
Well, I
doing
figured we were
today.
neighbors, you know.
Good enough. Ma'am, does your witness want to speak?
Yes, this is my mother.
Come on up.
She was at home.
State your name.
I'm Carol Jones, and I've been a dog owner and trainer and breeder within the city of Richmond for some 30 years. Her dogs are now fighting as a pack, sir. Once dogs fight as a pack and get a taste for this, these dogs will continue to fight as a pack. The neighborhood animals, pets, and people are now in danger. This is a grievous situation and needs to be
Have you
rectified.
reported all this to animal control? Why
Yes.
haven't these dogs
Yes.
been euthanized?
You know why? Because she got in court and she kept saying that the dogs were my babies. These dogs are my
that's
babies.
not.
And
After
she
you've
kept
been
telling,
ticketed twice, ma'am, and you have this type of evidence,
And
I
the
don't.
judge- and the
ma'am,
judge-
let's see your video.
okay.
Just roaming the streets. That's her
That's your dog, ma'am?
I can't
That is
identify
her
that
dog.
I can't.
Roaming the streets. Okay. If her dog can get out of the yard at that occasion, which actually that occasion
Yeah, but-
was.
Is he biting
Is
anybody?
he biting? Is he barking at anybody?
And
Is there any other dogs outside
Also,
either, sir?
ma'am, I don't know when that was, but
Yeah,
it is
it is.
what she's suing you for today is for a specific incident. We know when it was.
Mm-hmm.
We know what happened. There's evidence that your dogs went over into her yard, and
Sir.
there's
I'm sorry,
blood
sir.
trails right to your house.
That was my dog's blood.
So let's see pictures of your dog's injuries.
I did not have
I
a
know
camera
you don't
at that
because you're
time,
lying.
sir.
$3,200. The evidence
Thank you,
shows
Your
that your dog went over into her yard and damaged her dog. You have 2 tickets from animal control. Your $1,000 ticket is for what again? Case dismissed.
If she's going to allege that my son smokes marijuana, that I'm going to state that
Whatever.
she had a
Stacey
drug
knows
bust
she
at her
messed.
house.
She don't want to say anything. You know why?
I've
Because
seen
she
it
messed
all,
with one of
sir.
the little kids in the neighborhood. She messed with one of the young boys.
I messed
That's
with a
why-
young boy?
Yeah, you messed with a
And
young
who do I
boy.
mess with?
Yeah, you know who you
You
messed
tell me
with.
who I messed
The
with.
one that's driving your car.
That's his
That's my
best friend.
Yeah, and you hang with
He
her.
got a license.
With him.
He
You
has
don't
a
even be with him.
license.
You mess with him.
I mess with a
That's why her
child.
house is a house of nuisance.
How did she mess with him?
Because she loved to party with the children.
I let the kids hang
Yeah,
at my
you
house.
love to party with the
She let
children,
them chill with
Stacey.
me.
Whatever, Richard, you know the deal.